with the sponsorship of the Dagama Group.
Welcome to Rumbo Minero. Welcome, Cesar.
I like it, Jorge.
My name is Jorge Leon Benavides, and together with Cesar Campos, we are going to develop this program. Before we start with the guests, Cesar, there have been certain disagreements between Minister Arista and the President of the BCR that leave us a bit worried about the investment issue, about the management of the national economy.
That is right, Jorge, especially because Julio Velarde, in the Symposium, an international mining event, addressed the subject, pointing out that perhaps the MEF, the Ministry of Economy and Finance, headed by José Arista, is losing a bit of that meritocratic rhythm, to which there was a response, I think, to which there was an, I believe, unfortunate response from Minister Arista. Arista trying to raise a deeper misunderstanding. I believe that both have to march together, as you rightly say, for the benefit and also in favor of mining investments.
That is right. A very important issue that they have to respect, I think. Well, we are going to have Edgardo Orderique. He is the engineer Edgardo Orderique, president of Conamin, no less. This fair that is being held in Trujillo, which is very important, which is coming and which is very important for the mining sector. And Guillemo Shinno as well.
Exactly, former Vice Minister of Mines, with whom we are going to deal with such an important issue, which is of our concern and which has been moreover much debated during the week, the startup of the Tia Maria project in charge of Sauder, Peru.
We are going to ask him what things, when he was Vice Minister of Mines, what things should be and what things should not be repeated in this process that is already starting. Hopefully everything will go well. Well, next we go to the main mining news of the week.
Thank you, Jorge. These are the main mining news of the week. In a production rebound after the stoppages of 2023 due to social conflicts in the south of Peru, the volume of tin sold by the Breca Group's Minsur company grew 166%. Grew 166% in the first quarter of this year compared to the same period last year. And the bet on this mineral remains firm with the recently announced project for the optimization and continuity of the San Rafael deposit in Puno. Meanwhile, the company has not lost sight of copper and continues to advance with the Subway Fair mine in Ica, although with changes in the schedule, and is also looking at the potential of rare earths after having injected capital into its subsidiary in Brazil. The regional governor of Arequipa, Rogel Sanchez, assured that the regional government is very committed to promoting all economic sectors in his region, such as the Tia Maria project, as it is a mining region. As far as we know, has all the authorizations. It is now a matter for the private company that in harmony with the population, can define the start of its operations. We as a regional government do not have competence, the national executive has it, he declared. Known as the new white gold, lithium has become one of the most coveted minerals worldwide due to its growing demand in the international market for its multiple uses in different industries, from technology to medicine. In recent years, the main source of lithium demand has come from the transportation sector. This is a trend that is expected to continue to grow steadily, as internal combustion automobiles begin to be progressively replaced by less polluting alternatives, according to the General Directorate of Mining Promotion and Sustainability of the Ministry of Energy and Mines.
Thank you very much to Gabriela Chicoma. Well, now we meet Edgardo Orderique, the former president of the National Mining Congress in 2424, the famous Conamin, a very important mining event that is going to develop us. Welcome, Edgardo. How are you?
Fine. Happy. Thank you for the invitation, Jorge Cesar.
Edgardo, tell us a little bit to underline. It will take place from June 24th to June 28th in the city of Trujillo. This year, this new version will be held from June 24th to June 28th in the city of Trujillo. This new version will take place. But tell us a little more for the viewers, especially for us at Rumbo Minero. We know that Conamin is an important event. But tell us a little more about what is new, what are the novelties, what are the goals, what do you want?
Yes, of course. Well, as is well known, Conamin is going to be held at the premises of TechSop in Trujillo. Trujillo is a hospitable city that in this opportunity once again offers us its space to be able to inform from a more technical point of view. Some of the topics have some relation with politics, but let's say that the differentiation with respect to other events is that it has a strongly technical character, very heavy on technical issues. In that sense, its motto is innovative, sustainable, and intelligent mining, so that we can provide information related to this whole issue of sustainability, and aided in turn by the technological theme that will allow mining companies, in this particular case, to be able to develop their actions, their roadmap, not only on issues related to how to improve their productivity, their efficiencies, but also how technology helps to improve to the sustainability that humanity in general requires. Unlike previous versions, this time we have many forums that are going to take place at Conamin. We have the keynote lectures, but we also have decarbonization forums, technology forums, women's forums. We have the keynote speeches that I mentioned, roundtables. We have the business meetings. So it's going to be an interesting event with a lot of diverse information related to the mining field.
Edgardo, it is interesting that you have the title of this 15th version of Conamin, Innovative, Sustainable and Intelligent. Sustainable and Intelligent. I would like you to make a preamble of the three concepts, because I imagine that the organizers you have chosen these axes because of their obvious importance, especially in terms of innovation, sustainability, and intelligence. Innovation, sustainability, and above all, the application of new technologies that allude to intelligence.
Yes, of course. On the subject of sustainability, we have this way in which all companies and countries are talking about to have reasonable consumption in relation to the resources we have, and not leave future generations without these resources. In general terms, this is sustainability. And for that, companies usually apply the concepts of sustainable development and ESG concepts or practices, which is much more pragmatic and has a series of standards to follow. Mining companies and corporations in general are very committed to be able to have, by the year 2030, 40 and 50, with the NEC zero emissions, as we know. And it is precisely innovation. And technology must help to be able to reach these goals. But also, at the same time, innovation is obviously sought through operational excellence, through operational discipline. We can have these better productivities, better efficiencies. Efficiencies gain greater production volume, and the technology that also helps these concepts.
Now, tell us a little bit, Edgardo, the topic of I know that you are going to touch on very important issues that are affecting the climate change, such as also climate change, decarbonization, energy transition. Tell us a little bit about these issues that are very important for the world in general, right?
Yes. In fact, several of these topics will be discussed in the keynote speeches. But there is a specific forum on decarbonization. But the issues you mentioned go far beyond decarbonization, energy transition. We have these IREF certificates, which allows us to have certification that we are using renewable energy sources. But at the same time, we also need to implement renewable energy plants. Not only to have this certification, because what the energy suppliers do is to give these certificates, which are also endorsed by third parties in turn, but the other thermoelectric plants, coal, gas, diesel, etc., are maintained. So we have to continue increasing the source of renewable energies. We are currently at about 8 or 9% of total energy sources. With respect to total energy sources, and we expect this to increase. Energy transition is hand in hand with that. Electrification to help reduce greenhouse gases. Dematerialization is also one of the issues. To see how we can use fewer materials to arrive at an input that is useful for mining operations in this particular case, and reducing waste. The circular economy is a topic that is making good progress, but we are still a little lagging behind other technologies in the world. Technologies in the world, for example, tailings, how do we recycle tailings? It is said that we can recycle them because it is a circular economy of a single reuse, because in the end you are going to have a tailings also at the end. So how do we make sure that the tailings are used properly? Not only for the mining industry, but also for other types of industries.
Edgardo, finally, you have mentioned well that the La Libertad region, especially its capital of Trujillo, is hospitable, welcoming. But today it is also a problematic region due to the advance of illegal mining in the area of Patasan. In the area of Patasan, specifically what has happened to the powerful mining company. Is there any approach that you are taking or any discussion forum in which you are going to address this problem? This problem?
Of course there is. We have the Small Mining Forum led by the engineer Miguel Angel Zuniga, where this specific issue will be discussed. Patasa is a concern definitely because of all the crimes we have had in the last months, but it is also abundant in different parts of the country. And we are not only talking about gold, but copper at the prices we are currently having, almost $5 a pound. It becomes an illegal many times, in order to be able to have more income in certain areas, perhaps the poorest areas of the country, Unlike perhaps other types of meetings, this time we want to reach an agenda because the state, through Romulo Mucho, will also be present. We want to reach an agenda because the state will also be present through Romulo Mucho, Henry Luna, and Jorge Soto, Minister, Vice Minister, and General Director of Mining, so that we can jointly carry out a traceability, monitor this agenda, these proposed actions, so that month after month we can say, well, we are doing a check, this is being fulfilled. And on the issue of illegal mining, specifically, this agenda is being fulfilled to eradicate it, and not only to take short-term actions, but actions that allow us to have this activity completely out forever.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Edgardo Orderique. If you can give us some final words to invite people to this very important Congress, such as Conamin.
Yes, of course. All people related to mining and the public in general are invited to attend, invited to this event, National Mining Congress in its 15th edition in the city of Trujillo from June 24th to June 28th, June 24th to 28th. So not only will we have these forums, but also we will have the Makemin Fair, where around 200 suppliers are already committed to showcase their products and services precisely through the theme of sustainability, innovation, and intelligence.
Excellent. Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Rumbo Minero will also be there to promote them, of course.
That's excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we now go to the America Mining Block. As you know, we link up with our international editor of Rumbo Minero magazine, José Gonzales. José, how are you?
Very good. Nice to see you, Jorge, always.
Tell us, José. Last week we were commenting on the increases in copper prices, which experienced historical record levels of dollars per pound, to correct at the beginning of the week to $2 per pound. The equivalent is a 7% decline. What is the reason for this? And in the futures markets, is it still constructive in terms of quotes? Tell us a little bit about why copper is, we know it's one of the most important minerals today, but these movements, what are they due to?
According to Trading Economics, Jorge, copper futures fell to that dollars. That's 7%, as weak near-term demand weighed against speculative bets that triggered a broad-based rally in the base metals. Import demand from China, the world's top copper consumer, remained at low levels, lifting inventories and pushing the delivered price at a discount to London metal market prices. Still, speculative bets on copper kept prices at about 25% year-to-date gain levels, based on its key role in the energy transition, and as we noted last week, because of the momentum being generated by artificial intelligence-linked data centers, as well as the eventual traction in demand from China after Beijing unveiled historic measures to shore up its economy. JP Moran has noted that they are structurally optimistic over the medium term on copper prices over the next 2 years, as limited mine supply will not be released quickly, adding that a temporary correction in copper prices could be healthy to revive Chinese demand and set the stage for another eventual push even higher in quotations. According to ANC, prices of the metal have been well supported by the shortage of supply, and according to the International Copper Study Group, there is a cut in the ICSG's outlook in terms of surplus supply for the metal this year due to lower than expected production. For Citi, we are looking at a bullish world for metals with a base case scenario of copper prices consolidating over the next 3 to 6 months. Citi has stated in a recent report that they strongly believe copper will reach $12,000 a ton again in the near term and $15,000 a ton over the next 12 to 18 months, i.e. between $5.44 a pound and $61.81 a pound. The outlook for copper prices remains firm.
Interesting, Jose. Well, all the latest versions of Rumbo Minero have been giving us an account about the organization, this time under the auspices of the APEC meeting, which will be hosted by our country, the 9th version of Expomina, and the 6th of Conamin, the mining conference. I would like you to talk about the organization of the Mining Innovation, Technology and Digitalization Forum. Who is leading it? How will the dynamics of this forum be?
My pleasure. It's Cesar. According to Deloitte, mining of the future is not only focused on transforming operations into digital mines, but addresses the critical aspects to achieve success in the broader organizational transformation of the mining operation. Thus, smart mining applies digital concepts and capabilities from the 4.0 industry to the mining value chain and life cycle in 3 domains: smart operations, smart hub, and smart enterprise. These capabilities are key to the future of mining as they enable rapid decision-making along the value chain, integrate people and culture, processes and technology, enable productivity improvements and cost efficiencies across the value chain, and are enabled and supported by the latest digital technologies and digital systems, enabling connectivity and integration. The Mining Innovation Digitalization Technology Forum seeks to discuss innovation and technological advances in the fields of mining and mineral processing and environmental protection with recognized experts and specialists by convening mining operations professionals who are themselves executing digital and change management strategies in order to successfully implement the Smart Mining Roadmap. The forum is chaired by Isidro Oyola, General Manager of Anglo American in Peru, which, as you know, owns Quellaveco, the most modern copper mine in the world. No one better to lead us in explaining the development of the smart mining process in the country and in the Americas.
Excellent, Jose. Thank you very much. And this is going to be one, every week we are telling you about one of the forums that are going to take place within Expomina on the September. Thank you very much.
I would love to.
Okay, Cesar.
Well, time to move on to the AMSA Mining Assets blog.
Activos Mineros. AMSAC is a Peruvian public company with a great purpose, to give life back to the planet. Thus, we are dedicated to contribute to the sustainable development of the country through mining environmental remediation. In AMSAC, we recover the areas affected by high and very high-risk mining liabilities, which are in a situation of abandonment or in which the state is responsible. In this line of work, today we are present in 11 regions of Peru, with a portfolio of 65 remediation projects, which are located in different phases. Promotion of private investment. In AMSAC, we represent the Peruvian state as counterpart of the transfer contracts of important mining projects. In addition, we supervise compliance with the commitments and obligations that are part of these processes. Today we are leaders in corporate management systems, within the 35 companies of the FONAFE Corporation having the certifications, made 9,001 in quality management, made 14,001 in environmental management, made 37,001 in anti-bribery management, and 45,001 in occupational health and safety management. At AMSAC, sustainability and care for the planet are our DNA, and therefore, we are proud to contribute to creating a better world through the recovery of air, water, soil, and ecosystems impacted by mining liabilities. And thus, contribute to 10 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030. Giving life back to the planet is more than a simple phrase for us. It is the guide of our daily actions, with which we positively impact the lives of thousands of Peruvians, and through them in our country.
Well, we now meet the former Vice Minister of Mines, General Manager, as well as Apumayo, Engineer Guillemo Shinno, who is going to talk to us a little bit about various mining issues. As we know, he is one of the people who knows the mining sector very well. Guillermo, welcome to Rumbo Minero.
Thank you very much, Jorge. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Cesar, also.
Guillermo, Minister Romulo Mucho brought forward the Tia Maria issue, an issue that we think is very good, that he intends to join forces. What are you, with the experience you have been as Vice Minister at times when the Tia Maria issue has been tried. What would you say are the positive issues that we should follow, and what are the mistakes that should not be made?
Let's see. The positive part that I see also from the information that I have is that the climate of the people, of the population there, is very favorable to the project. In fact, most of them have always been, and this must be reinforced. I understand that both the company and the state have also been working to strengthen this relationship with them. Not only the minister has announced it, but also the regional governor of Arequipa has said that by the end of the year, Tia Maria will probably have the green light, which is a very good sign and announcement for the sector. But we have to be very careful because there are people, elements that are against mining, and that in due time will gain strength, will agglutinate, let's say, an important mass to try to revert the current situation.
Repeat. Guillermo, there is an interruption. I was just listening to statements made by the company's executive, Mr. Raul Jacobs, that said that this Mr. Mesa, who speaks on the radio saying that he represents the farmers, this Mr. Mesa does not represent the farmers. And that's exactly what you're talking about, how they dirty, let's say, and make themselves leaders that they are not.
Exactly. I mean, there are many people who are against mining. They call themselves the representatives of many, let's say, unions, be they farmers or defense fronts. Of many, let's say, unions, whether they are farmers or defense fronts, in reality, they do not represent anyone. But in time, they sometimes manage to agglutinate an important mass, not from inside, the foreign people, with which, let's say, can change the environment a little bit. What is it that we have to be very careful, and we must not make the mistake, is that although the people in Tia Maria, in the Tambo Valley, are in favor, what they felt at the time is that this small group imposed itself on them with fear. It must be made very clear. With fear, with violence, and there was no state to protect them, that great man.
That is to say, it is the state that has to
It is the state that has to give protection to these people. Of course, you are in favor of a project. You are in favor of a project. Your neighbor, a neighbor is against it, and he throws stones at you. He starts threatening you. And you see that the police didn't come, they don't help you, and all day long they break your house. You say, you know what, I don't want the project anymore. It is logical and it is natural. And it is human to feel that fear that no one is going to protect you. That is what we have to take care of.
Minister Guillermo has also referred to another emblematic project in an area that is also in turmoil, and even with poverty indicators higher than those of Arequipa or the Tambo Valley, which is Cajamarca. Cajamarca, and I am referring specifically to Conga. Now he has spoken not only about Conga, but also about Galeno and Michiquile. One explained to Victor Gobis recently in this program, Rumbo Minero, in reality, the interest is now collective. It is no longer a focused interest only as a unit of each of these mining companies or these deposits. So do you think it is also feasible to achieve this new vision based on this new vision in which both Conga, Galeno, and Michoacan, Conga, Galeno, and Michiquillay have to come out together for the benefit of Cajamarca?
The three projects, Conga is getting more and more advanced. Conga already had construction authorizations, but the other two already have a lot of work to do to design the project further. But I believe that the shareholders of these projects are aware that their projects alone suddenly do not come out. And if we work together, as Victor Gomez rightly stated, there is common infrastructure that these three projects can share and therefore reduce the cost of the project. These three projects and therefore reduce the environmental footprint. I believe that they will see it with good eyes and it will be positive. Now, Conga. They do not have it in the queue in their projects. It is no longer a priority for them. Even Yanacocha Sulfidis has delayed it. First, we have to convince Neumann to put Conga back, let's say, in the pipeline or in the priority, in the pipeline or in their priority.
But it's important what you mentioned about how these towns are contaminated, and sometimes these towns and sometimes the government wants to get to convince people who are scared and threatened it's better to get there sooner. That's very true. Now, poverty is unfortunately reaching 29%. So, mining is, without detracting from the other sectors, because we know that they are very important, and a country that wants to be on the road to development must strengthen all its sectors. But the truth of the matter is that the one that is giving a great part today, they say that 30% of Peru's budget comes from mining. What do we need as a sector to help lower this figure so that it does not remain, or at least lower it to the minimum, which is what all Peruvians, want? Do they have to let us work?
Yes, but it does not only depend on the mining sector. I believe that the mining sector is willing to invest and move forward with the projects. This is an integral issue. It is a major and structural issue. And the skin, the money, the resources that governments have today are leaving. And we see it in the statistics that the Comptroller's Office itself shows that 15, 20 billion sols are not spent. Or I don't know what
But $50 billion over the next 10 years seems fine to you. Shouldn't we have more investments? Of course we should.
Now we also have to make things very clear. We have $50 billion in projects, in this portfolio of projects, but a lot. Half of these projects are still at a very, very early stage to be sure whether or not they will become projects. To be sure whether or not it will become a project or not. Let's work it out with the other half, which is important. It is said that if all the copper projects, the main ones that we have, are put into production, we would reach the production that we have today. We would reach the production that Chile has today, which is a little more than 5 million tons
It's interesting.
of frost per year. So we have to work with what we can. In other words, it may be impossible to cover everything, but let's focus on what is feasible. And I believe that this will provide something we have never talked about.
Not to reach Chile's production ever.
And we are too far away for that yet.
But there is the
the way
change.
in what you say, but we have to work on it. We have to work on it, and it requires the government and all its sectors in which efficient investment in infrastructure has to be made, especially for those poor populations. That is to say, those who are next to the mining projects do not invest there. They invest in the capital of the province, in the capital of the district, but not the rural community. That is why that mining does not bring development. Mining does not bring development is false. Because if it does not bring development, it is not because of mining, it is because of the bad management of the authorities we have had.
Finally, Guillermo, it still goes around a little bit. It generates debate. There is information at the Fraser Institute regarding the attractiveness of investment in which Peru appears at a lower, in smaller scales than those in which it previously. However, Minister Romulo Mucho published a few days ago in the newspaper Gestión as a kind of response that perhaps he is giving a very partial or biased reading of this report, given that that it is only measuring the aspect of what could be the development of an investment in some specific cases, but not the whole. What do you think about this? Is the minister right, or is he right, or should we take a cold look at the report, the Institute?
It depends on how everybody sees it. I mean, he is his position. He believes that the Fraser Index, let's say, doesn't reflect what effectively is the investment attractiveness that investors have with respect to Peru. And I would say that he is partly right. I mean, every time you go to these lifetime
Offers
events,
what I know when, for example, there is Jorge, there is you, there is everything, but we see that
really
there is...
made an interest. There is an interest, but we should not leave aside the fact that that interest is lost when they want to see the reality of the country in which there are many conflicts, projects do not advance, permits last too long. There are already projects such as Tia Maria, Conga, and we can name some others out there that have been stopped and many millions of dollars have been invested. It is something that investors are starting to think about as well.
Excellent. Guillermo, as always, very clear in your appraisals on the subject of important issues that we have touched on mining. Let us hope that we will have a new respite in mining with Tia Maria and with other projects, as you say, also Conga. And we thank you for being here. We hope to have you here another time, and we are already preparing for Expo Mina.
Baltarumi, a company dedicated to the acquisition and processing of gold ore, committed to sustainable development and social responsibility. We guarantee full traceability of our products. We use state-of-the-art industrial technologies that allow us to guarantee efficiency in the production process, maximize our resources, and protect the environment, fulfilling our commitment to preserve nature. Baltarumi SAC. Together we are better.
Be part of the mining event of the year Expo Mina Peru 2024. We are proud to be part of the activities that will take place within the APEC framework. Therefore, we present the Forum of Mining Ministers of the Asia-Pacific Economies, which will be held within Expo Mina 2024 from September 11th to 13th at the Yoki Exhibition Center in Lima, Peru. Join leaders and experts to explore the challenges and opportunities of Peru's mining industry to the world. The inclusion of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, in Expo Mina 2024 represents a milestone in global mining events and a unique opportunity to enhance collaboration and knowledge sharing in the mining sector at an international level. This important forum will bring together prominent mining leaders and experts to address the challenges and opportunities facing the industry in the Asia-Pacific region. Expo Mina 24 will be an unmissable event for mining suppliers and companies. We invite you to participate in our great fair. Do business with the mining sector. Become a sponsor or separate your stand and participate in Expo Mina Peru 2024. More information about the most important mining trade fair at www.expominaperu.com. Invest well, invest with the leaders.
Well, coming to the end of the program, to comment a little bit on the program, Cesar, I think that what Guillemo Shinno tells us is very important because of the experience he has had for several years as Vice Minister of Mines. He has been a very fair-minded person when he has been Vice Minister, but he has clearly given us the recommendations. And we return a little bit to what we have been repeating in this program for more than 15 years. The anti-mining NGOs and the lobbyists in the area that are beginning to threaten, or like this Mr. Mesa, who begins to say, I am the representative of the peasants. We have to be very careful. And the other thing is that the government has to be there to protect the population that does want
a de facto intermediation that nobody chooses and who simply stick their noses in to disrupt something that is going to generate
money.
Development not only in the Tambo Valley, Arequipa, but also in all of Peru. And very interesting to talk also with Edgardo Orderique about the 15th edition of Conamin, which is going to be in La Libertad, an area which, as he himself tells us, is also convulsed by the issue of Pataxi and the advance of legal mining.
That's right. Very good. I think it has been a very interesting program, and do not forget, next comes Peru Constray to talk about very important issues such as mining, infrastructure, and construction, the brutal infrastructure deficit we have. We have to continue fighting with the issue of the infrastructure deficit. As far as the mining course is concerned, thank you very much, and we will see you as always on the same signal.